Welcome to Obstacle Running Adventures.
Over the last 7 years, we have consistently released weekly episodes focusing on
obstacle course racing, running, and other adventures.
You'll hear interviews, event recaps, conversations about our sport,
quick news updates about happenings in our community.
And now, here are your hosts,
Standing on the corner,
Michael Stefano and Caitlin Ritter.
Hey guys, it's Michael Stefano.
And Caitlin Ritter.
And Caitlin, how was your weekend?
It was good. We met our friend's baby, Hallie, and we went to a baby shower for our other friends, Maddie and Sam, who are having a baby, in 2 weeks?
Yeah, in addition to our other friends that are going to have a baby in 2 weeks.
Yeah, so lots of babies, no babies from us, which I know is what the world is waiting for.
Yep, not happening anytime soon.
Mike, I wanted to say congratulations on your 1 year of being a BCBA.
Oh yeah, that's pretty exciting. Yeah. And then also recovering from my ultra last weekend. Feeling fine. Feet are okay, much better than I thought. Didn't get torn up the way I thought they did, but there's still a big blister between both of my big toes and the toe next to it, which is fun.
Let's pop the blister.
No, as long as it's not in the way, just keep it and it'll heal itself. Also, just still sleeping a lot, which is tough for productivity because this is a very busy week. I got lots to do, so I had to wake up early, and I got a lot done today. But
what time did you wake up?
7:30. Yeah, compared to waking up at 10:30, that's different.
I wake up at 6 a.m.
Yeah, that sucks. All right, let's give a shout out to our sponsors.
Mudgear, use code ADVENTURE for 15% off your next purchase. Caterpie, use code OCR Report 20 for 20% off your next Caterpie purchase. And I just learned today that you can use code OCR Report 20 for 20% off your next Spartan, Deca, or Tough Mudder through 2025.
Really? Fascinating. Let's give a shout out patrons.
Jason Dupree, Samantha Thompson, Bradley Keel, Charlotte Engelman, Aaron Grindstaff, Laura and Stephen Ritter, Hank and Arlene Stefano, Kenny West, Cheryl Miller, Jessica Johnson, Christopher Hoover, Kevin Gregory Jr., Evan Irick, Brent George, Logan Nagel, Asa Connington, and Seth Rinderknech.
Yeah, real quick shout out to Cheryl Miller, who did a marathon then a 10K. So pretty much ultra marathon there, pretty solid. And to the OCR Report for being a great home for us on the internet.
And to Will Hicks.
The Podfather, check it out over at theocrreport.com. We just had a very unproductive group call with the team about World's Toughest Mudder, getting excited and just booked a flight. I guess it was productive in the way that I now have tried every filter that Facebook Messenger Live,
Video
chat, whatever has. We went through all of those. They were very fun. And to our sponsored athletes.
Javier Escobar, Kelly Sullivan, Ryan Brizzalara, Joshua Reed, and Kevin Gregory.
Yeah. I don't think we did a poll, and then we're going to skip meme a week yet again. I don't remember the last time I even did that. But we're going to get right on over to quick news, starting with Logan Nagel. On Facebook, his status changed to married. So he married Jane Gosney Nagel October 20th. So congratulations to him and Jane. This is just more of a shout out to Aaliyah Simo, who is in the World's Toughest Mudder community group, who posted last year. Giles Chater called me out for not creating a Duplo version of a Tough Mudder course following my attempt the year before. As we have upgraded from Duplo to Lego this year, I got the chance to be a little bit more creative. And look at this. She made a Tough Mudder course out of Legos, and it's pretty damn good. I can see Cage Crawl. I can see Funky Monkey.
That's awesome.
I can see Block Nest. Great job with Block Nest. That's one of my favorites. And there's
the Berlin Walls.
Yeah, there's people helping out other people. And
that's amazing.
Very,
Did she get
cool.
a puzzle piece for that?
Oh, yeah. Hashtag does this earn me a puzzle? Earns a puzzle piece. I don't know. But congratulations to her. That was pretty cool looking.
DJ Fox posted February 2025. I'll be teaming up with my sister in honor of my nephew to bring awareness to Tourette syndrome. We'll be taking on the Disney Princess Challenge, racing a 10K on 2:22 and a half marathon on 2:23.
Yeah, so I think that's pretty cool. I was wondering why he wasn't doing the Dopey Challenge.
Maybe he didn't get in. You have to get into the Dopey Challenge.
Bullshit, really? Well, he deserves to be in more than anyone. Next up, I wanted to give a brief shout out to Bear from Spartan, the MC guy, who apparently got fired. I don't know the full story behind it, but it was just very, very interesting. I've heard from some people, a lot of people not liking him. I've heard from other people that they do like him, but it's a bummer. I know he wasn't paid by Spartan, this and that. Just very, very interesting. And yeah, he's no longer. I think he was only in like the OCR world for like a few years, but still, that is a thing that happened.
Up next, Allie Tippett and her husband, Preston, welcomed a baby girl into the family on October 6th. Her name is Covey Marie Wooten? Covey Marie Wooten? Is it Wooten a name of a Pokemon?
Wooloo. So close. I'll give you credit for that, yeah.
Hannibal Race posted, important announcement, Hannibal Race postponed. Dear Warriors, due to the devastating war in Lebanon, we must postpone the Hannibal Race. This conflict has disrupted our ability to ship obstacles and fly our team to Qatar.
Yeah, so bummer for that. If there's any silver lining, that means that Evan Preparis will be coming with us to World Surface Winter. He's going to help us cover that a little bit better too, so excited for that.
Leon Kofel posted, I had 5 precancerous skin lesions removed and get quite a few comments about how I ruined my back. Note, something I worry about, but it motivated me to make a post. The best way to not die from cancer is to catch it at an early stage and get rid of it. My mom found her cancer in an early stage the first time around, and it gave us 8 to 9 more years with her before she died from breast cancer remission. I'm very grateful for each second in those years.
Yeah, I had to watch it twice to see the imperfections on his back.
Oh yeah, I do see them.
Yeah. But yeah, glad he was able to find that and get that taken care of. I'm going to take the podium since Caitlin is sick. I will have some mercy on her soul. Starting with the Spartan Dallas Ultra. In third place for the men, Zachary Obrey. In second place, Joseph Rucco. And in first place, Jonathan Stern. For the ladies, in third place, Sheridan Santinga. Charity Bourne in second. And in first place, Rachel Munaz. For the Dallas Beast. For the men, third place, Joshua White. Second place, Pete Ozick II. And in first place, Josh Silva. For the ladies, in third place, Aubrey Mahellingham. In second place, Celie Daly. And in first place, Janavara Gannon. And for the Dallas Super, in third place for the men, Joe Kurth Jr. In second place, Lazaro Ruiz. And in first place, Esteban Laranaga. And for the Super and the women, third place, Naomi Tucker. Second place, Vivian Tran. And in first place, Melody Bourne. And there's 5 secret links. Go and check those out if you want to. But let's finally get to what this episode is all about. It has been a long time coming, but we finally had Jack Goras on for his own episode. Pretty sure he's like the last member of the OCR Report to finally have his own episode, but finally glad to have him on again. We talk about
Ukraine.
Yeah, Ukraine, photography, his time in the sport, and lots of other stuff. So let's get right to our interview with Jack. We'll start off with your name and where you're from.
My name is Jack Goras. I currently live in Colorado.
Awesome. And how's Colorado treating you?
I like it. It's expensive, but I'm just waiting for ski season at this point. A couple more weeks, and I'll be sloping down some mountains.
Awesome. And you previously lived in Florida, right?
Yeah, so I grew up in North Carolina for 18 years, or 17 years, and then I moved to Florida 2014, right after high school, and lived there for about a couple years, and I moved to Georgia for a few months, and then I moved back to Florida, and then in 2021, I moved to Colorado.
Okay, no, that makes sense. Where in North Carolina? It wasn't one of the places that got hit really bad from the storm, was it?
No, I lived about 2 hours from Asheville.
Okay, that's good. Well, you have quite a reputation as a photographer in our sport. I want to hear your background in photography. So what sparked your interest in this kind of career?
Right. So I actually never really wanted to do photography or knew anything about the sport. When I was in college in Orlando, I was going to film school. So to be a videographer and do video and all that great stuff. And then the unfortunate thing about being a college student is that you're really, really, really poor. Mm-hmm. So I needed money. So I started emailing just events on the side to take pictures. And I did a couple like 5Ks around Central and South Florida. And then took pictures at the Green Beret Challenge.
Oh, wow. Yep.
So that's kind of not a thing anymore. I don't know.
Mhm.
They went through like several name changes. It's hard to keep track.
It is.
I don't even think they're an obstacle course race anymore. So
Yeah, it's like my job to follow along with all that stuff, and I've kind of lost track of that race, unfortunately.
they're kind of more of like a just endurance thing
Yeah,
and shoot some guns.
yeah. So where are some interest? What are some of your favorite places that your job has brought you? Not just in like OCR, because I know you do photography for a whole bunch of other things, but like, what are some of your places that you've favorite places you've gone?
Um, Probably some of my favorite places I've been to. Hmm. Mike didn't give me a list of questions
I
beforehand.
don't give anyone a list of questions.
So I'm not ready for these tough questions. I know my favorite country is Finland.
Okay.
So never done a photography job there. I might be there for the Spartan European Champs. Got to talk to the boss about that one. But my favorite country is definitely Finland. And but some of my favorite memorable places would probably be Morzine. I really like Morzine doing the ultra there this
Heard good
year.
things. Yeah.
America wise, there's nothing really I care about America. Nope. In Europe, man, I've been all over Europe. I know some cool places. Oh, northern Albania, kind of where the mountains are, where Mount Negro,
Oh, cool.
very beautiful. Uh, Greece, like Sparta, Greece, where they have the trifecta thing, World
Yeah.
Championships. That was I love that place. When they did the 24-hour Ultra Championship in Sweden,
Mm.
that was a really cool place. Probably my favorite venue I've ever been to. But yeah, a lot. Yeah, all over Europe. So yeah.
I'm jealous of that. I've only gone to Ireland. It was back in college, so I didn't have much money. All I remember eating and drinking was vodka, ironically, just drinking a whole bunch of vodka and eating just bread because that's all I could afford to buy. And because of that, I only remember half of my trip there. So it's a bit of a bummer for that one.
Nice.
And then I'm only going back to Europe for the second time, finally going to Italy for our 2-year late honeymoon. Finally going to Italy.
Your 2 hour anniversary.
Yes, yeah, exactly. But yeah,
Do
I'm
you
very
think
jealous of all the trips that you've had. What do you love so much about Finland? I remember talking to you about this a little bit before.
I
But
just love the culture there, the
mm,
people. They're all introverts. So that'd be like perfect for me. I would
yeah,
love, I think if I moved to Europe, it'd probably be Finland or like one of the Eastern countries where it's really poor,
mm,
very cheap on the
yeah.
Eastern side. But Finland's kind of more on the expensive.
Is it? Okay,
Yeah,
yeah. Thinking about it, I don't really know too much about. I know where it is, and I think that's just about all I know about Finland, unfortunately.
pretty much there's Russia and then Sweden and then Finland's right in the middle.
Gotcha. So, how did you first come across OCR? Was it that the Green Beret Challenge? Was that the first kind of foot in the
Right.
door? Or is it?
Yeah, I did the Green Beret Challenge. It was like at Date City or the Savage Race.
Oh yeah.
Central Florida event is held. This is that at the same venue. But yeah, I did a few of those, did some local OCR stuff. And then Belinda Liu, I don't know if do you know Belinda Liu?
I don't think so. Nah.
She hired me to be like her personal Spartan photographer. So I just like ran around course with her, taking pictures at the Jacksonville one. It wasn't really Jacksonville, it was like 2 hours south of Jacksonville.
Hmm.
But they called it the Jacksonville.
Right.
But so I did that with her, and then she hired me, and then I kind of went on this personal photography. So I just did photography for individuals. Did that for a year or two. Yeah.
Yeah.
What was the question, Mark?
No, just kind of how you came into all this. And that's interesting too. And I wonder now if people are more in search of personal photographers now that they have to pay Sportograph anyway for their photos. I wonder if like there's more of a demand for that. Do
You're
you
right.
get offers?
I think there's almost less demand because Sportograph, they have a photographer pretty much every obstacle now.
Oh wow.
So they definitely got a good system put in place. That's why they're doing what they do.
Yeah.
No, yeah, I don't really know much about
Yeah.
that stuff.
When did the OCR report adopt you? How did that come about? When did
Right, this was
take you in?
before the OCR report started, so I'm like grandfathered in. I was the first I like to think of myself as the first employee.
Yeah. Definitely one of the early ones, that's for sure.
Right. This was actually when I was living in Georgia. Our boss, our Lord and Savior, Will Hicks, Mr.
Who
Five
sometimes forgets
Stars,
about our meetings.
right? Or Mr. Five Stars. He Instagram messaged me and he was like, "Hey, would you want to shoot some Tough Mudders for me?" And at the time, I was like, not really interested. I was like, "Yeah, maybe," and I kind of brushed it off for a few months. And then I started talking to this girl in Miami, and there just so happened to be a Tough Mudder X there. And I was like, hey,
Yeah.
I know would you be interested in hiring me for this Miami event? You know. So that's kind of how that started.
That's pretty sweet. That's an awesome deal.
The thing with the girl didn't work out, but
Well,
career worked out.
yeah.
So
No,
yeah. So that was like 2018, I want to say.
okay, interesting. And then you've kind of just been along for the ride. You've been kind of
Right.
shipped all over
Yeah.
the place.
So it was the world's toughest podcast, and then we started the OCR Report. I mean, I say we. I didn't really start anything.
You're in the
Well,
background. If you listen real quietly, you can hear you say
okay.
something once in a
It
while.
was my idea. No, I can't take any credit, but I'll take all of it if you want to get. But yeah, the OCR Report started. Will kind of started that, got all these podcasts together, kind of under one umbrella.
Hmm.
To be kind of this like leading news source of OCR, and we have the best pictures and some good podcasts. I don't know.
It's funny because it started off as like a podcast network and a really good photographer, and now it's like now I'm the odd one out as the podcast.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, everyone else is doing their own thing, which they're doing great with like the live streams, this and that. But now I'm like, all right, now I'm the sole podcaster left.
Yeah. I mean, you do a good job. I don't really listen to
Sure.
podcasts. I listen to one podcast, and honestly, I only make it halfway through the episode before I start listening to something else.
Yeah. What do you listen
So,
to on runs then? Is it just music?
yeah, I just listen to music. I know people listen to podcasts when they run.
I do. I do. Because I can't listen to music because if I listen to like metal or something, like I'll I can't breathe right. And so like podcasts and people talking, I can like pace myself better.
That's so weird.
Yeah.
I can't run and talk. I'll run and listen.
Yeah.
That's way too much at one time, you know?
Fair. And
I go on runs with Chris Vogloski, and well, she goes on runs with me. Let's be honest here. No, and like just running and talking and running and listening that's a lot of work. Like I can't do it. Like I have to be able to just like put on music and just like zone out, and like I can only focus on running.
fair. It can make time go by faster. But yeah, music, it depends on what I tend to listen to like faster and heavier music. So, and I'm not like a fast person. So it makes
No,
it difficult.
I listen to sad and depressing music. So
Okay. Anything
I
good?
run.
Like what were we talking here?
Um, Nothing like a lot of indie people. So like Colonial House has been a big one lately. And who's that other guy? Corey Colaragan? I don't know, but
Hmm.
bunch of nameless people that you honestly probably haven't heard of.
Fair. Well, I'm sure someone has listening to this.
Yeah.
But going back to working for the OCR report too, like how do you deal with, because obviously it's part of the job in general, whether it's OCR or not, but how do you deal with all the traveling? Because I feel like that's exhausting. It's exhausting for me at least.
Right. I deal with it by not dealing with it.
Hmm.
That's my motto. It's like you're gonna suffer when you travel, and you just gotta embrace the suffering. You just gotta be like, today's gonna suck, but I'm gonna get there and I'm gonna be happy. I find that when I get there, I have a lot of energy.
Hmm.
Like if I usually take like early morning flights, the first flight out, and then I usually have a lot of energy when I get there. But like flip-flopping time zones, flying between Europe and America, like it's a lot. It's very draining. Emotionally, it's a lot. You feel very isolated and alone a lot. So I recommend traveling with people and always staying in touch with the same group of people. So keep
Yeah.
you unisolated.
That's fair. It's one of those things too that everyone has a travel story, like a horror story when it comes to traveling, but like the more you travel, I feel like the more likely you are to chance upon something like that. Do you have any horror situations that
You just embrace the horror, it's going to happen. I find that like I watched a reel, an Instagram reel, the other day, and it was like people who travel and face problems are usually more relaxed than people who don't travel and face problems. Because when you travel, you're inevitably going to always face problems.
Sure.
Most recently on my flight from Croatia, Split to Munich, I lost my passport on the flight.
Oh shit.
So I land in Munich, and I go to Lufthansa, and I'm like, "Hey, I left my passport on the plane." They searched the plane, couldn't find it. So then I'm like, either I can like really freak out and get all messy and just freak out, or I can just figure this out. So I just take it step by step. I reschedule, go to the police, file a police report, go to another police, like kind of a mess. You go to the federal, and then you gotta go to the state, and you gotta go back to the federal to like file your lost passport. And then you gotta be like, how do I get a passport? And then you gotta go to the consulate. You gotta email the consulate because they don't take phone calls. Email a consulate, set up an emergency appointment, take a taxi over there, get a passport, reschedule your flights. Meanwhile, my phone is dead. Uh, but yeah, I mean, it's just like you just gotta figure things out. And then I ended up just staying a night in Munich and just be like, okay, that was a long, like I didn't get everything figured out until like 5-ish p.m. is when I got my passport, and it was like a cool purple one. And then I just scheduled my flight for the next day, and I was like, okay, well, that sucked.
I like to
But
pride myself on being someone that's like cool under pressure. I would have lost my goddamn mind if that would have happened to me. The closest that I've had to that was within the country, so it wasn't all that bad. But I lost my wallet when I was checking into a hotel in Vegas for the, I think it was World Surf Summit like 2017, and I didn't have my wallet, which meant no money, no. I couldn't prove that it was myself for the hotel room, all that stuff because I left it in the Jersey airport. But being in a
yeah,
different country, I commend
yeah.
you for being able to keep a
I
level.
feel like that would be even more stressful. I would rather lose my passport than lose my wallet.
I'd be, I don't know. I haven't been to enough countries to know that like things would end up all right. Not that like that's like it's a rough time out there too, but just like the language barrier, this and that. And I'm sure you're not the first person to lose a passport, but
Right.
man, that it
Yeah,
sounds
there
like
was
a
a
nightmare.
yeah, there was a few other people there who were just like freaking out. I'm just like, listen, it happens. It happens to all of us.
Just gonna staple that shit to my chest when I get to when I get to Italy.
Yeah. Yeah, and if you lose your passport, I mean, at the end of the day, you'll figure it out. You can just go to the embassy or consulate or something, and they'll give you another one. There's another way you can fly. If you're flying straight back to America, you're not stopping anywhere. You can just get a police report,
Hmm,
and as long as you have a valid driver's license or something,
that makes sense.
you can just show them that, and the airline will call America somehow. I don't know.
Hmm.
This is what they were telling me. And they're like, yeah, we'll just call America and we'll ask if you can fly back. And they say yes, and then you can. And I was like, I'll just get another passport. It sounds fun.
Certainly an adventure there. And then
Yeah.
through all of your time, covering OCR races, what do you think about the athletes that are in the sport? Because as media, we get to hang out with a lot of them behind the scenes in ways that a lot of other people don't get to. So, like, who are some people that you're like most excited to see at races, and what has it been like developing relationships and stuff with the athletes?
Right now, it's kind of like I'm always excited to see people. America wise, I don't really know as many people, or because I developed big relationships with all the, I guess, OGs now.
Mm,
Um, who are kind of just like retired and moved on, different stages of life now. So I don't really know a lot of the newcomers in America. In Europe, I have a lot of friends. I know a lot more athletes there. But there's like language barriers. Like I know Manuel Dufro pretty well,
he's a cool guy.
and Greg, I can't pronounce his
Basilica,
last. Yeah, Basilica.
French guy. Yeah.
And I break out my 13 words I know in French when I talk to them. Um, yeah, I mean, I get pretty excited. There's one girl from Chechnya. She's really cool. Her name is Clara. Clara? I don't know.
Okay.
I never had to say her name until now. I just say hello. And yeah, I feel like I know kind of more of the European side better now. So
Hmm. What about that in the States, though? Hey.
In the States, I would say I get excited when I see Austin Azar. Yeah.
Yeah,
But I don't think he's going to be at World's Toughest this year.
that's a bummer. I'm still astonished that he was able to do as well as he does. I know he has like a background in like ultra endurance, and he's done well at World Toughest Mudder before too. But he's like a big guy. Just seeing
Yeah.
someone able to move like that, very impressive, and just
Yeah.
so Canadian and so nice and humble.
Yeah, he's definitely my man crush in OCR.
Fair. That's fair.
By far. Number one.
Yep.
He's so number one that there's not even like the next person's number 6.
Yeah.
So.
If I was Austin Azar, I wouldn't own any shirts. I would just walk around shirtless all the time.
Right? Yeah.
Kidding me?
You don't need shirts when you're Austin Azar.
No, absolutely not. I hope he listens to this.
I'll send it to him. Me and him are best friends now.
Yeah, he's a cool dude.
By default.
Yeah.
So he doesn't have a choice.
Force him into it. But being
Yeah.
in Colorado, as you said, like Chris Rogloski lives there. There's a lot of like really cool, trying to think like Nicole Miracle, Jack
Mhm.
Bauer. Like,
Right.
like where do you live in Colorado? Are you close to them or what's
I kind of live in the middle of all of them. I live in Lakewood.
okay, that's cool.
So Chris lives kind of like near Aurora. Gosh, what's the town called? Kind of near Aurora, not in Aurora, but kind of close to there. VJ and Jack Bauer live in Colorado Springs, which is like an hour and a half from me south. And then I think Nicole Miracle lives in Boulder now, I think.
I think so,
That's like
yeah.
45 minutes away north. And then Mendoza probably lives like 5 minutes from me.
Can't forget about Chris Mendoza. I love him.
Yeah, he's kind of full on dental person.
Caitlin will get mad if I don't ask this, but how far are you from Golden, Colorado?
I'm like 5-10 minutes. I was just in Golden.
Okay. Have you, and I've heard that this is a thing, but I've never met someone that actually has gone to it. Apparently, every year they have a parade of golden retrievers. Have you gone to this? Can you verify that this exists?
No, I've never been, but I think I'm going to go next year.
Yeah, it sounds amazing. I don't know when it is, but that's supposed to be something that it's known for, and Caitlin like wants to go so badly. Actually,
Yeah.
Colorado is one of the only states that I've never been to that I've always wanted to go to. So
It's definitely worth going to, especially if you do anything outside. It's one of those outside places.
it just seems like a massive playground. Like, oh, like there's these mountains you can do, and then there's this, there's that. You can go skiing, and it sounds pretty wonderful.
It actually reminds me, my favorite all-time venue I've ever shot at is in Colorado. It's Telluride. It was the Spartan Ultra 24-hour in Telluride. Best views, beautiful, most beautiful, and then Sweden's number 2.
Okay, wow, yeah, I heard Telluride was kind of tricky to get to, but
Oh yeah.
I think it was like Matt Kempson told me that like it was one of his favorite places in the country. So
Oh yeah. Yeah, when I went with a buddy of mine, and classic Jack, I get the dates wrong. So they started on Sunday, ended on Monday, and I thought it started on Saturday. And I just never checked the website. I just assumed. So I was going there a day early, and then me and my buddy was like, we're going a day early, so let's take the long way. So we drive all the way down to Durango, and we drive up from Durango. It took us like 15, 16 hours. Whereas if you drive straight from Denver, it's like 5 or 6.
oh, okay, gotcha.
Yeah, that was a pretty fun road trip.
Seems like it would be. It just seems beautiful out there. I was able to. The longest I've been able to spend time there was just in the airport, and I don't count that unless like you leave the airport. But even the view from the airport, I'm like, this is a place that I want to go to. And one of my best friends from college lives out there now too, and I'm so badly want to make it out there.
Yeah, the Denver airport's something else. Definitely my least favorite airport right now.
Really? Is it just because like you're there all the like it's the common denominator you're there the most, or
it's just whoever designed it. It's just like I just want to talk to them. It's for like 25 hours. Basically, there's 3 terminals. You have you have like the main terminal where you check in, and then you have to go down, get on a train to go to either A, B, or C concourse. The only way to get between A, B, and C is by the train.
oh, that is
The train is not very large. So a lot of times if you get on like a 6 p.m. flight, you have Southwest and Terminal or Concourse C, and all those people get on the train, and by the time it gets to B where United is, it's already like 3/4 full. People on B get on, it's completely full. Like everyone is like molesting each other. It's great. And then by the time you get to A, where all the budget airlines are, and Delta, literally nobody can get on. And like and people don't know A very well. So basically, the train is the only way to get through everything. But if you are in A, you can actually take the Sky Bridge. There's a bridge. That's the only one where you can walk from the terminal to the concourse.
Okay. Yeah, I
But
think
between A, B, and C, you have to take the train, and I think it's the dumbest thing ever.
that's annoying. That's definitely an issue when creating that airport. Then I would think I was just there for like a layover, and I think I happened to be in like the same terminal or the same
Right.
area, so that worked out well. But yeah, that's like I don't like Boston, but that's because every time I fly, it's usually out of Boston, and it's such a big airport that it's it's just
Yeah.
overwhelming and intimidating for me. And I always have a tough time with TSA, whether it's like podcast equipment or like video game stuff. But I leave like one little bit of water in my container or forget a quart or something, and they threaten to strip search me, and it's
I have a very like one of my favorite airports is Atlanta. I just
really
love Atlanta. It's just so like you have A, B, C, D, and F terminals. They're all lined up. You don't have to like, C is in between D and E. Like
right.
it's just
Yeah.
A, B, C, D, E, and you take the train or you can walk.
I
It's
will
like super
say
simple.
I will say my first time at the Atlanta airport in my memory was for the World Cup Summer 2018. And it wasn't like the main train, but it was like another train to get to like the rent-a-car center or something. But
Yeah.
that thing caught on fire like around
Yeah.
that time, and it was like super early in the morning, and everything was closed, and we had to like wait for hours because everything.
Yeah.
It's more like the rent-a-car issues there, but
Yeah. Yeah. In Atlanta, you get to take a little train to the rental car place. And I
right,
think it keeps going to the convention center. But
right,
yeah,
yeah.
it's pretty cool. I think Atlanta is probably like I don't really go outside of it when I flew Delta,
Mm.
except for a few times. But I mean, just flying through Atlanta was like such ease. And now I fly United now, and I fly through Dulles in Washington.
Mm.
My God, the stupidest airport I've ever seen in my
Rules?
life.
Huh.
Don't even get me started on that one.
Yeah.
So
So we talked about people that you like seeing. What about other than Fran and Carlo? Who are some people that you dislike?
probably Fran and Carlo in that order. You know what? Not in that order. It just depends on the day of the week.
Fair. My reaction when you asked Fran if she was excited to come home again, she was very confused, and she's like, "To Florida?" And you said, "Yes."
Oh, yeah.
Both of us, but so much surprise.
Yeah, I love roasting Fran because she roasts me and we roast each other. And Carlo is so mean with his roasts, by the way.
It's-
Sometimes I gotta remind myself that he might love me. He's nah,
some things that you say that you can only really exclusively say to each other, I just have to take a step back, and I'm just like, this is a wild relationship I'm witnessing here.
I know. And we're gonna be with each other for 24 hours here pretty soon. So it's gonna
Yeah.
be brutal for sure.
How you feeling getting ready for that ultra endurance media day weekend?
I don't get ready. No, I usually prepare for events because like especially World's Toughest Mudder, like I don't get the map until like a couple of days before. So there's really not much preparing other than me just showing up. I don't even know what time they start. Did you find that out for me?
I should know this.
I have no like I usually figure out everything out like the week of. I start finding the maps. Sometimes it's like the day before. Like I'll message Jason and be like, "Hey, what time do they start tomorrow?"
Yeah.
Because I don't want to dig through Spartan's website. Spartan's website's a mess.
Mess. Yeah. They didn't read it.
OCR WC's website, great.
Yeah.
Spartan should really adopt, you know,
They
what
should.
they're doing. But yeah, Spartan's website is a huge mess. So it's just hard. So it's just better to ask someone the day before.
Fair.
Sometimes I ask the athletes when I know that who's going to be there. I'm like, hey.
And it's a good reminder too, because sometimes they might not know the answer too, and they're like, "Oh,
Right.
I have to learn this too." But
Yeah.
World Toughest Mudder like it's an event that you look forward to because it's not like I don't imagine that there's many photographers in the world that have taken on an event like World Toughest Mudder, like a 24-hour race, 24-hour plus race. Like, is this something that you enjoy, or is it is exhausting? But do you enjoy it too, or?
Right. Yeah, it's very difficult. It's probably one of my hardest events I shoot all year. Probably like the second or third hardest. Just because it's so creatively draining.
Yeah.
Like I have to set up lights and figure out good lighting. Lenses matter. I have to figure out which lenses I want to use. Um, it's like creatively, it's just like my brain hurts a lot. So I usually try not to think about it until I get there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's one of those events that like I look forward to it every year, and I
Right, that's what you asked. Yeah, I am
yeah,
looking forward to it. Don't get me wrong.
but
I
it is
don't work.
exhausting. Yeah.
Yeah, it is very exhausting. But yeah, I definitely do. I'm really looking forward to it. It's probably my favorite event of the year, I would say, because I get to see probably most of my friends. Well, I love the Tough Mudder community.
Yeah.
Um, they're all pretty cool. There's no one I don't really not like. Um, yeah, so I'm pretty pumped this year.
Yeah. And then you can watch me get too drunk at the bar crawl again.
Right. Yeah, I'm not giving anybody rides this year because I'm gonna get lit. That's for sure.
You were my best friend. I was so excited because we went to some burger place down there that I hadn't had before.
McDonald's?
No, it wasn't McDonald's. We had McDonald's. What the hell was it?
No, I don't remember.
It was it was like Whataburger or something.
Hmm.
I think.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm gonna make the bar crawl this year.
Fair.
I'm trying to figure that out if I want to leave Tuesday.
Right. And then that kind of segues into the next section. So tell us where you're leaving to.
Right, so I'm going straight to Ukraine right after. So I'm going the long way this time. I'm going the adventure route. Flying into Romania, and then I'm gonna go Romania to Moldova, and then I'm gonna take the train from Moldova to Vinnytsia, which is in Ukraine, and then I'm gonna hang out in Vinnytsia for a few days, and then my friend from Germany might pick me up, and we might drive to Kharkiv from there. So it's kind of a loose plan right now.
So we talked about this very, very briefly at the bar crawl last year, I think it was. So you have been on the
Mhm.
podcast before. I know you said that you hadn't, but we talked briefly there.
I've been on the podcast before?
Yeah, I interviewed you at the bar crawl.
No one ever told me I've been on
It
this
wasn't like
podcast.
it wasn't like this, but I was doing like interviews there. You were totally
I
on it.
feel like I'm being catfish.
It was me.
I thought this was my first time on this podcast.
This is the first
Never
time where it's like your own episode. That's
my own episode, and we're talking about how this is my second time on it.
But what trip is this your third or fourth time out there?
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Ukraine is one of those countries, like there's a few countries I just stopped keeping track of, like Germany, Poland, and Ukraine. I just don't even keep track of, and England. But yeah, in Ukraine, my first time I went over there was last year, January 2023, and I went back over there in June. So that was like the second time. Then I went back there this year in May, and then I went and I lived there in June through August. So I lived in Ukraine pretty hardcore, June through August. But in between that, I was flying, to events around Europe for like the Spartan Ultra thing. I had some other Spartan European thing and another Spartan thing. And then I had to come back from America for a conference for 1 week. So I was pretty in and out. I probably went in and out of Ukraine like a dozen times.
That's crazy.
So,
Wow, I don't think I realized like how long you were there. I do know that I saw you do something that would make Caitlin's dad jealous. You drove like a tank for a little bit, right?
yeah, I rode on a tank.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. That was pretty cool. It was only for like 30 seconds, but it changed my life.
That counts, yeah. What is it that drives you to keep returning to Ukraine?
I just really like, helping people. I really like teaching English to the kids. I like I like war photojournalism. I love the aspect of the dangers of it and really enjoy it. Yeah, I just love it. I said August, but I meant September because I actually came back September 4th. Now I think about it.
Gotcha.
So,
So two things on that real quick. I remember you saying that I think you were in school. Were you like back in school to become a teacher or something for a little bit too?
yeah, I actually graduate here pretty soon.
Hey, congratulations.
Hopefully in the next month. I
Okay.
decided to go the non-licensure part.
Okay.
I was like, I don't really need the license. Like I don't need a license to drive. Like I can just drive, right? So I think
Things
that
people want to hear as they see you careening down the hill at World Stuff.
I think that transfers over to teaching. No, I don't think I really need my license yet. I mean, I'll probably keep subbing, but I don't think I need my license for a few more years.
Mm.
So I might do grad school for a little while. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah. And then on the other side of things too, like, photojournalism, there's a lot of kooky theories, a lot of bullshit out there. People saying Ukraine isn't like it's not really at war. Everything's like very overblown. So as someone who has gone there in person, I can only imagine. I know how much it pisses me off, but what do you have to say about like people that are kind of underselling what's happening there in Ukraine, I guess?
I mean, there's definitely a war. That I
Yeah.
can confirm. Whether or not the weapons we are sending over there are making it to the front lines is up to your interpretation. My interpretation is that not all of them are making it to the front because it is a very corrupt country.
Mm.
So I do think they need to be held accountable. I think we do
Yeah.
need to send, we do need to help them, but we need more accountability for sure. But they are a very corrupt country. So yeah, I mean, they are at war. I've seen dead people. I've been in the trenches.
Yeah.
So yeah.
It's pretty crazy, but I think it's very impressive what you do and what you continue to do to go out there and like do what you can to help with photography. And like you said too, like teaching kids English too. What's that experience like, working with like Ukrainian kiddos?
Right. I mean, I think when you're teaching a language, it's a great opportunity to also learn the language.
Yeah.
But yeah, teaching kids English is, Ukrainian is a rather useless language in the grand scheme of the world.
Right.
Whereas English you can really use and you have a lot more opportunities. So a lot of kids, they take it up. In Kharkiv, um, that oblast borders Russia, and they're kind of like the oblast right next to where the war is really like the front lines are. So they're pretty close, and they're constantly being bombed every day. So they have no school. So all their school is online. So the kids haven't been in school since 2019. So there's, a lot of the kids who are like 10 years old has never been in school.
Yeah.
And so they have a lot of social dysfunction, and it's very sad. And when you see it, and like they have a lot of separation anxiety from their family because they're not used to being away from their family.
Right.
The minute their mom steps out of the room, they're almost freaking out.
Yeah.
Because they're around their parents all the time, so they're not used to being away. And there's not a lot of male role models in their lives. A lot of older dads are, either in the war or died from the war or injured from the war. So, unfortunately, the draft age there is 25 years old, which, if you know, the draft age in pretty much every other country is 18. So their military, the average age is 35.
It's interesting.
So it's a very old front line. Like you rarely see people in their 20s on the front line. A lot of them are just older people. So a lot of missing father figures in communities.
Yeah, it's pretty tragic to think about. I wonder why their recruiting age is so much later in life too, especially since they are at war. You think they would have like.
Well, it was 27.
Okay.
And now it was hard enough for them to get it down to 25.
Wow.
I don't know the whole politics of it.
Right.
I don't really. I do not. I mean, I believe it should be 18, especially since they're at war, but a lot of people are like, oh, they're just sending them to die. But there's a lot of things, 18, 19-year-olds can do that's not on the front lines. There's a lot of misinformation going on about that.
Fair. Yeah. What is it like traveling to Ukraine? Like, how do you ever get like weird reactions from people when they find out like that's where you're traveling to, like in the process of going to Ukraine? Or do you find that there's a lot of people like you that are also going there to help?
Right. Yeah. I usually just don't tell people. I just say I'm going to Poland.
Interesting. Yeah.
I'm just going to go look at stuff in Poland, and then I'm going to come back. Yeah, I usually I also don't talk to that many people in the airport.
Fair. Yeah. Fair. Yeah.
So, yeah. Yeah, I usually just don't really tell people. I just go.
Do you feel like you're appreciated when you go there? And I know that's like a hard thing to kind of measure, but
Right, yeah, they definitely appreciate it. I mean, there's not a lot of Americans there. I mean, there's definitely, I would say a couple of thousand, maybe more, 20, 30,000, maybe. I don't know. But not a lot for a country with 40 million people.
Hmm.
So, yeah, I mean, it's definitely appreciated anyone, especially when they find out that I'm there to teach kids English. They're like, oh my gosh, thank you so much.
Yeah.
So it's definitely feel more appreciated there. So,
Yeah. And then, as you said, like you get things out of it too. It's like learning some, some of their language. But has it, in what ways has it kind of like enriched your life? I guess. Do you see things differently after going to a country that's at war?
right, it definitely puts problems in perspective. Like I'm definitely more chill about the problems I face here now.
Right. Yeah. Like losing a
Um,
passport.
yeah, I mean, it could be worse, but kind of puts things in perspective that like you don't have to be so serious about everything, and everything's gonna be okay. Like it's gonna be just fine at the end.
Hmm.
You'll figure it out.
Yeah. Any final thoughts on Ukraine? I know this is a bit of a downer part, but I really
I
want
know,
to
I
hear
know,
about this
I
part.
know.
Yeah.
Final thoughts. I mean, who knows what's gonna happen in the next year or next month, with Ukraine. So hopefully, I mean, something can happen because at the end of the day, there's no winners in war. So it's my
Yeah.
motto.
Yeah.
Everyone has lost, except for American manufacturing, private military. They're winning. Everyone else is losing.
That sounds about right. That sounds about right. Um, so what else was I gonna say? So other things that you know, other jobs that you do. I know you were doing like some volleyball and stuff too. What are some other sports that you're interested? I don't know how to segue away from Ukraine. What are some other things
Right.
that you
Right. So I like to do a lot of volleyball. I love volleyball, soccer. I love soccer.
Hmm.
Um, what's that? I do a lot of conferences and corporate work too. So like
Right.
that really pays the bills. But yeah, I do a lot of local sports. Don't really travel around too much for that. Still kind of a little guy in that world. So yeah, big goals. Yeah, I mean, I don't know where the world's going to take me.
I think you talked about like, did you say that you showed interest in like wanting to like be one of like the NFL photographers or something like that? I feel like that'd be decent money.
I honestly don't know if I can do American football. I
Fair.
was at a football game for college a couple days ago, and I was like, this is the dumbest sport. Like, it really is. Like, if you just laid it out, there's a foul on literally every single play. And it's just like, what's the point? Rugby makes more sense, and rugby is another dumb sport. So I just can't get past how there's a little foul in every play, and between every play, there's like 30 seconds to a minute downtime where everyone's just jacking each other off or something. I don't know. What can we say on this podcast?
Yeah, say whatever you want.
We'll cut that out. But it's just like of actual playing time in between all the fouls, everything. I'm just like, this is the dumbest sport.
So bitter against football.
Yeah, but
You think that's the dumbest sport? Because I can't stand baseball. You want to talk about like
yeah, baseball's
boring time in between
another.
everything, like the broadcasters that talk about anything else because it's more interesting than the game.
I consider baseball as a sport where you can be fat. I don't think any sport where you can be fat is just not a sport.
Yeah.
Baseball, NASCAR, like if you can be fat and like an overweight, is it really a sport?
Bowling.
Bowling,
Yeah.
I mean,
Sorry,
it's
Will,
not
curling too. I know I
curling.
know
Yeah,
Will
not
curling.
really. Like I think there needs to be a clear line. What's a sport and what's not a sport? And because now you have this video game stuff coming up. I'm like, that's not really a sport. The
I
sport
agree.
should
I
be
love video games, but yeah, not I,
sport should be like pushing athletes to like the absolute limits.
yeah. Competition, yes. Sport,
Yeah.
not really. No.
Right. Yeah. I think there needs to be a line between what's a competition and what's a sport.
Mm.
That's just
But
my personal belief that's right. So,
yeah. And yeah, no big people in volleyball.
right. I
Yeah.
mean, it could be, don't get me wrong, but
I feel like it's
I
too
think,
much jumping to be too big of
yeah, yeah. I've definitely seen some big people and they're really good. So
Mm.
I can't really discount. And
Fair. Yeah.
that can't be the gauge. But you get what I'm saying, right?
Yeah, yeah. Yeah.
Like,
I also can't I know VJ has been massive into it, but golf, I feel like
yeah,
it's
golf
very
is a
dull. Although I
kind of
heard of doing
dull.
like speed golf. That sounds interesting. Like hitting the
Yeah.
ball and running. Like
Mhm.
that's
Yeah, that's like you're pushing yourself to the edge there.
yeah. That makes it interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. Another thing, another unpopular opinion about sports is like the Olympics. There's too many sports in the Olympics.
Yes.
Like, holy, take a shit on my shoelaces. Like, there's just way too many sports. You're bankrupting whole entire capitals of these huge countries, putting on 80 different sports that people only watch like two or three.
hmm
It's just like, if you look at Olympics like 30, 40 years ago, it used to be like much less sports.
Yeah. Like wrestling, some running events, some swimming events.
Yeah.
But now there's like swim this way. Okay, now swim that way. Now swim
It's
this way.
just,
Now you can swim this way or that way. That's
it's
not,
just too much. Like, who cares who can jump the farthest on skis? Or, like, I don't care. I
yeah.
just want to see a cool ski trick or two.
Yeah. I'll
But
watch the highlights.
yeah, and like there's just way, way, way too many sports. And like I love OCR, obstacle course racing. But I don't know if it should be Olympic sport. I'll be honest with you.
I'm
It's
with
a
you.
great I love OCR, but not every sport needs to be Olympics.
Right.
There's
Right.
already way too many. There needs to be less. I think OCR needs to work on itself for a little while before they start pushing to the Olympics.
Right. Every once in a while they hit on like a gold mine though, and they get, breakdancing and heavy sarcasm with that one.
I know, it's like they have break dancing in the Olympics. It's like we shouldn't be striving to be Olympics. We should be striving to be OCR. You
Right.
know?
Yeah.
Like what made OCR OCR, you know? Other
Adventure,
than
not
the cool
standardization.
letters. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's just me and I'm right. You're wrong. Everyone else is wrong. So that's just my right opinion about the situation. So
Love
I
it.
mean, I love OCR, but I think we need goals of like let's not focus on the Olympics. Let's focus on ourselves and just make the sport really cool. Make
You want to
people
talk
want
about
it.
like corrupt things, the Olympic, like, they're up
I
there,
know.
man.
We don't need OCR doesn't need to be Olympics. OCR needs to be OCR.
Yeah. Work on the
Put
day.
that on a t-shirt. Send me 10%, please. 20. I'll take 5%.
No lower. But
Yeah.
time to come to a close. So World Service Mudder, Ukraine, those are obviously two massive events. Any other like events or anything coming up for you?
I'm shooting DECA World Championships.
Oh yeah.
But I'm trying to figure out if I can get out of that. Let me be honest with you. I really I want to shoot it because I need to work. I need the money. But also, by far the worst event to shoot, just because it's the same thing every day, the
That's
same
fair.
10 things. The pictures all look the same lighting. But this year I might have some lights. I might get a little spooky with it, you know. But I'm trying to think of if I can get out of it. But if I get out of it, I need to find a new source of like revenue.
Fair.
You know?
Yeah.
So that's like I really, really creatively, like I don't want to be there.
I
And
get it. It's the
and-
same 10 stations every time. Yeah.
yeah, and it's Ocala. Like, I don't want to go to Ocala.
I don't know anything about yeah.
So yeah, I mean there is this really cool park where you can paddleboard. Ooh. Now I do kind of want to go.
Pro and cons list.
Yeah, maybe I will go because I really like paddleboarding and like there's a really cool spot where you can see manatees and gators and stuff.
Okay. You had me for the manatees and then you lost me at the gators. Not a fan of gators, but
Oh yeah, the gators will swim up right up to your paddleboard and be like, "Hey, what's up?" And then you're like, "Okay."
I just
Yeah.
you Floridians are built different, I guess. You live in
Yeah.
Florida, and then all of a sudden you're not
Gators
afraid
are
of things you should
so
be afraid of.
cool. Yeah, but gators aren't going to eat you unless you're like a toddler.
No, you don't think they'll take a chunk of they take down zebras, my dude. Like
Those are crocodiles.
okay, but like is it that much of a difference? Oh, I know one closes their mouth like this, just the tip, then the other one does both.
Here's the difference for all you people who don't have an education. Crocodiles, extroverts. Alligators, introverts.
Okay.
Crocodiles, super aggressive, super extroverted. They want to eat you. They want to eat anything, and they're really mad, grumpy people. Okay. Alligators, they're just kind of chilling, you know?
Now, was this like a census? Was it like a survey sent out to the
Yeah, alligator. They're two different species. Like crocodiles, not found in Florida, North America. I think they are kind of some like Central America, but in Florida, there's not any crocodiles, only alligators. And alligators only eat small prey, like maybe a horse here and there. Toddlers at Disneyland. Well, I don't
Small
know.
dogs.
Small dogs.
Small
Yeah,
dogs.
they'll eat
Yeah.
like small animals and stuff, and toddlers. I throw this stuff out there because a couple years ago, I don't know if you heard about the toddler that got eaten at
Nope.
Disney World or Disneyland. I don't know the difference. But yeah, the parent,
Disneyland is California.
well,
Or
whichever one that's in
yeah.
Kissimmee.
Mm.
The parent, they're at the resort, and the parent let their kid out into the water, and their little 2-year-old got eaten by an alligator.
Hmm.
But yeah, alligators don't really piss around with adults. They're usually more scared. But that's not 100%. That's like 95. So don't take my word for
This
it.
is coming out before World Stiffest Mudder, so if someone gets eaten.
Also, since this is coming, if you see water in Florida, there's alligators in it. If you only see for every one alligator you see, there's at least 10 you don't see. Okay? That's something to live by.
It's funny because I go for runs and we have like especially in New Jersey where Kenton's family lives and we see bears. Like I'm not completely unfazed by them, but I'm more unfazed than most people because it's a bear. It's not like a grizzly bear or anything that's worth being afraid of. But Fran, who's coming from the UK, and all the people that are coming from Europe, where like their most dangerous thing is like a horned owl or something. I can only
Right.
imagine the fear they have when there's actual deadly things on course.
I mean, honestly, once people get started running through the water and stuff, like the gators aren't gonna hang out. They're gonna swim away. 99% of the time, it could be that 1% where that gator is like, hey.
I don't even like snakes, Jack. I don't know.
Yeah, there's definitely gonna be some snakes. Not gonna be any of those big pythons. They haven't reached that kind of area. in
Yeah,
Florida
I
yet.
just regular gardener snakes do it for me. I was doing my
Yeah,
ultra, and I was like
there's
11
definitely
hours in, and I saw a snake, and I did like a little double jump.
definitely gonna be some snakes. Definitely gonna be. I wouldn't be surprised if there were some gators. I've been to this venue before, by the way.
Okay.
I've driven around it was like 22 when I was there in December. It was the first Tough Mudder Spartan event at the same place.
Oh, the combo. Oh, interesting. Okay.
Yeah, and they were running through the swamp. They were running through the water, and I don't think they saw any gators. So, but I wouldn't be surprised if there was, because if there's water, there's a gator.
Because at least in Texas, there were cacti that you had to avoid, but the cacti didn't move.
Right.
Because I was worried about stepping on those when it was super late at night. But yeah, definitely bring in headlamps.
I mean, it's the same thing as like if there's water, there's a gator. If there's a person, there's a meth dealer. So
yeah,
that's Florida.
just like that. Just like Florida. You're not wrong there either.
Yeah. Don't be a Florida man, or actually be a Florida man.
You're Florida man.
Break some laws. This is official obstacle running adventures phase on this. So if something happens, sue him. Break the law, people.
Do something worthy enough to make it into the GTA.
Make it onto the news
Trailer.
for me, please.
Yes.
It'd be great.
Jack made me do it.
No, ORA.
Yep.
Not ORM, ORA.
Yeah.
Remember that. Or don't remember it.
Perfect. And where can people find you on social media and send you hate mail for those that enjoy football and everything?
I love hate mail. The other day, someone messaged me is when I sourced a bunch of emails from everyone that downloaded pictures from the website. I sourced all those emails.
Oh, I meant to ask, and I think I asked already, I don't know if you answered me, but do you get a notification every time I hit download? Like, does that get annoying?
No,
No, okay. I wasn't sure.
no, but I can source those emails. But you can just type 12345 at 12345.com.
Oh, and it works?
Yeah. You don't have to type in a legit email.
That's good to know.
It doesn't hurt my feelings when you don't. But anyways, I sourced a bunch of emails and I emailed blast a couple months ago when I got back, maybe in August. And this guy emailed me and said, fuck you and fuck Ukraine. And I was like, okay. And then he Instagram messaged me that too. So yeah, hate mail doesn't bother me. If anything, I love hate mail. I love to hate. I watch Big Brother right now, and I'm like, this is so much drama. I love it. So, anyways, where you can find me is Images by Jack, Instagram, Twitter. I mean, you can find me, but I don't really. Facebook, please don't find me. I can't even find myself most of the time. So
You lost yourself a couple times. You lost yourself on Instagram too. Sometimes I forget which one to tag.
yeah, if you want to follow my personal account, don't follow it because I only like to follow people I know on my personal account.
Fair.
Unless you're a cute girl, then I make exceptions. So, Mike, I'm sorry. You're also not.
Let me get something to rag on my head.
Yeah. I don't really have YouTube anymore. I guess you can find me on Snapchat if you really tried. I'm on LinkedIn, by the way, if you want to be LinkedIn buddies.
And then Jack Goras has a podcast. I don't know. Did you end up renaming it? I can't remember.
Yeah, it's Travel with Jack Goras now.
It is now. Okay.
Yeah, but it's not. It's like a few dozen downloads. Lately, not much because I don't post any. So when you post 0 podcasts, you get about 0 listeners. But I've been making headwaves on the Fran and Carlo show.
Mm-hmm. Yes, you are. Only 30 seconds. Oh my God.
Yeah.
How mean would it be if I was just like, and here's 30 seconds of Jack's interview?
I've been told it's the best part of their podcast
Hey,
by Chris Ozowski. So
it's one thing coming from her. It's another thing coming from Melissa Linden. Too.
Oh yeah,
also a big fan.
She also says I'm the best part. I don't know if she actually said that, but
I'm pretty sure she has. Yeah.
Yeah, one time I just took a nap in 30 seconds. It was so funny.
Dude, it's funny because now that I listen to it in a podcast because I don't really watch videos as much. And I was listening, I'm like, nothing. I don't think that anything happened. And then yeah, I think you were sleeping. But yeah, that's always an interesting part of the episode.
That was great. Yeah. So, anyways, thanks for coming on my podcast. Travel with Jack Goras.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, anytime. Preferably not so late next time. I am craving to watch Big Brother right now.
Yeah. 10 o'clock for me, so.
Welcome back. Thank you, Jack.
Yeah, for coming on the show and for being such a great asset to the team. For related episodes, there's episode 359, which was World's Toughest Mudder 2023, Part 2, Brunch Interviews and Audio. Pretty sure he just kind of snuck on the mic for that one. Episode 360, though, World's Toughest Mudder 2023, Part 3, Bar Crawl Interviews and Musical Performance. That was the first time I interviewed him and had him on the show, which was fun. And then episode 400, which was episode 400 with live intro, outro, surprise congratulations clips, Q&A, and shout-out compilation. He sent in congratulations.
Subscribe and follow wherever you get your podcasts. We are Obstacle Running Adventures, but you already know that if you're listening.
Yeah, if you can leave us a review. That doesn't really do much, but it's nice to see.
You can follow us on social media. We are on Facebook and Instagram at Obstacle Running Adventures, as well as Patreon. You can support us for as little as $2 or as many as $10.
Yeah, for those that missed it, we did do the October Patreon video. We sent that out on Patreon into the Facebook group, and disappointed that Caitlin didn't get as scared as I had anticipated her
getting. That's because I am a brave woman.
It seems it. Coming up next, planned interview with a very well-dressed Danish man or a woman who ran every street in Boston. We will see which one works out best for next weekend. But Caitlin, do you have a joke or a quote to wrap up?
My joke is, how did Casper break up with his girlfriend?
How?
He ghosted her.
Oh.
And then my quote is, you're allowed to have off days. You're allowed to feel completely drained from all that's going on in your life and has been for a while. You're allowed to take breaks from responsibilities to take care of yourself. You're allowed to express your feelings and how you need to. You should not feel guilty for not feeling like or acting like yourself. It is in these times you discover yourself, your strength, you discover meaning and resiliency, and all you need to do to live a good life. You will look back on these times and be proud of the person you fought for. You will be proud of you. Nice. And a joke? Why didn't the vampire play poker? Oh, we did a joke already, didn't we? Why? Because of the high stakes. Oh, that's a good one. All right, well, that just wraps it up. My name is Michael Stefano. And my name's Caitlin Ritter, and it's cold and flu season in 3rd grade. And Will Hicks just liked our Patreon video. And we'll talk to you next weekend. Bye. Bye.
Thank you for listening.
you enjoyed this episode, please be sure to subscribe to our show and write us a review on your favorite podcast app.
You can also follow us on Instagram and Facebook and connect with us there.
Most importantly, we would appreciate it if you shared an episode with a friend so we can reach more ears
and continue to effectively shine a light on the people in our sport, as well as the events that we are so passionate about.
Our intro song is Streaker by Straight Up, and our outro music is Iron Call by The Best.
Is that fair to say? I think that's, yeah.
I'm so confused to hear my voice.
Hold on, I'm figuring this out.
There we go.
Let me change the audio. Should have a microphone.
I realize this is the exact opposite of photography. it's
Oh,
it's
it's a whole new world.
it is. Although you're no stranger to podcasting. Perfect. We'll end it there. This was fun. I'm looking forward to seeing you in a little bit.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to all your listeners. If you have a comment or concern, if you have a concern, send it to Mike. If you have a comment, send it to Mike.
Yeah. Don't send anything to Caitlin. Caitlin doesn't take feedback well.
If you're gonna send money, I'm here for it. Images by Jack. My PayPal, you can find me on PayPal. You can find me on Venmo, Zelle, Cash App, QuickBooks. I have all the payment links. I own my own business.
That'll do it.
Trust me, you can find me.
Perfect, man. All right, I'll let you go. You can watch Big Brother. I'm going to get to editing. And yeah, I should have this episode up tonight/tomorrow-ish. Yeah.
Tonight that would be quick. Do you have a job? Where do you work?
I do a quick turnaround time. I work with autistic kids, and I'm a supervisor, so I get to like make my own hours.
So you work with Carlo, huh? What's it like working with Carlo?
It's interesting, yeah. He helps me across the street.
Oh yeah, I wouldn't trust that guy with anything.